So for 2 out of the 3 developing studios working on the Call of Duty franchise, it's almost become a long-standing tradition at this point to have a secret streak hidden within the multiplayer of those titles that they're working on. Treyarch is the only one that really hasn't jumped on board with this, and their whole philosophy behind it actually is that it's Infinity Ward's thing, and now I guess Sledgehammer's thing as well too, so they don't really want to diverge into that to kind of take away from their developmental process. But that said, Infinity Ward as well as Sledgehammer has for the past few games given us a secret streak hidden within multiplayer, usually a 25 to 30 gun streak depending on which game, and normally that will grant you a streak that either kills the entire enemy team or, in one instance like in Modern Warfare 2, will end the game entirely regardless of where the progression through that match has been and grant your team an automatic victory. And so going into this year, having a handful of these now under our belt from both Infinity Ward and one from Sledgehammer with Advanced Warfare and the DNA Bomb, a lot of people for the longest time leading up to the beta and then the full launch of the game really wondered if there would be one here within. And a lot of people just inferred that it would happen simply because we had seen it before. And this actually might now be something we know a little bit more about, because while we didn't have any information leading up to it save for a little bits of code from the beta that was data mined that made reference to the V2 rockets, it was something that we really didn't get anything in the full launch. We didn't see anything of 25 gun streak, a 30 gun streak, a 50 gun streak, nothing like that anybody tested gave us any sort of this streak. But the one thing that kept people hopeful was that Michael Condrey actually tweeted out saying if, and if I say if, we were going to design a hidden streak in COD World War II, it would take much more work than a nuke. Now get off my lawn. Now, of course, that last part, once again, as we mentioned in a previous video, is a joke, but it was something that's pretty much ended up confirming that there would be something to look for. We didn't have any indication as to what it was. We didn't have any starting points to where even to look for this and anything to go off of in general. But it did put that suspicion in people's mind that maybe there is something, we're just not looking in the right direction. So people got to testing all sorts of different theories and things like that, and this then leads to where we are today, because we might have some actual solid information. This comes from game code, so it's something that I cannot put really imagery or anything like that up on text, because for whatever reason, once again, that is just a weird little copyright scenario in which the code itself is considered intellectual property. The game, while it is active, it's something viewable to the public. The code isn't necessarily so much, so that's something I can't put up on screen for you guys to show you, but I can describe what it does say. So the portions that directly reference the nuke, or what we know as the V2 rocket, which is something that, once again, we knew back at the beta because of data mined information that this streak would be in here, but having not seen it at launch, it really created some suspicions. But it is described as prestige all divisions at least once to gain access to the V2 rocket kill streak. And then another dialog box can come up saying you are on your way to earning the V2 rocket. Once you've prestiged all 5 divisions, you will gain access to the 25 kill streak. It's later then further detailed as simply get 25 non-score streak kills without dying to earn it. So very similar to what we've seen in the past, but with a little bits of a twist here to this. Simply, instead of just getting those 25 gun kills right off the bat, you have to throw in a little bit more work here by prestiging every single division. And that's something that might be a little bit of a task for some people, because if you don't use, say, shotguns like me, I don't use shotguns at all. So going through and playing a little bit with the expeditionary division is going to be a little bit interesting. What is actually nice though is that the division system and how it works, you don't have to use strictly shotguns for, say, the expeditionary, SMGs for the airborne. If you end up using the division and then a different weapon from a different classification, you actually rank both of those up at the same time. So once again, you could throw on expeditionary and then use an SMG or an assault rifle, and you can rank up both airborne and infantry along with expeditionary. So that's something to keep in mind as well too, but it looks like this extra added twist is going to put in a little bit more work here in how you unlock it, and it's not a base thing that's right off the bat. But it is something that is similar to the Moab, the Chem Streak, the DNA, the Deatomizer, and not like the nuke where you have to have it equipped, because it later says, the V2 rocket kill streak is now available. In all modes other than war, the V2 rocket is always equipped for use. So very nice that you don't have to equip it for a specific kill streak to be able to use it, but that's something that we probably could have guessed would be happening anyway. But nonetheless, it is something that this looks very legitimate to me. It definitely seems like strings of code, and I'm very intrigued to see how fast this can actually happen with some people. Now, here's the thing, because you guys may want to jump on and test this out for yourselves, and that's totally cool, but the only issue is that you can't do it just yet. It's not actually in the game, or at least what it seems like it's not in the game at this point in time. I was in a Discord with a couple of the other Carnage guys earlier in the morning, and they tested this out, did not get anything here, but it is something that may very well be coming very, very soon, and by that, I mean next week. So while that is something that might seem a little bit arbitrary, why is next week so significant, and what day in particular will this be coming? Well, that to me seems more so like Tuesday, November 14th. So where do we pull that date out of? What's the significance of November 14th? Well, this is actually when it's probably going to be the next scheduled hotfix or title update in general. And the reasoning as to why that date in particular stands out is because an Activision support article actually detailed a little bit about this date, saying that there would be some information coming, and of course that the biggest part, COD points will be coming within Call of Duty World War II. Now, of course, that itself probably shouldn't come as a surprise. Kind of a bummer that it is going to be added in once again, but we pretty much knew this would happen after the past couple of years. So that topic aside, not trying to divulge too much into that, that is when we're going to be seeing COD points coming into World War II. So either a hotfix or a title update could add both of these sorts of things in, and therefore we may very well be seeing the V2 rocket, the secret nuke streak within Call of Duty World War II coming at that point in time. And while all speculative, it just seems like the most logical information, as in this game code, right above it, it does in fact mention that there is the ability to directly purchase rare supply drops at any time with COD points. So while those two things tie together and we have the release date of when COD points will be coming within World War II, to me it just makes a ton of sense and it clicks like a puzzle piece. But nonetheless, it's very possible that we end up seeing the V2 rocket coming at that point in time next week. So a few things to note, I think, before we wrap this up is, firstly, I don't think that Private Match will be able to help anybody achieve this very fast. That's something that a lot of people definitely want to jump in and maybe see this for themselves, maybe get some gameplay if you're a YouTuber. It's something though that Private Match, you have to be aware if this is in fact the case, in which you have to prestige at least one time on all 5 divisions. Private Match does not track division rank and prestige. It's something that you're already maxed out to level 4 in Private Match. So therefore it doesn't, at least as far as I know, take into account your actual rank and prestige in divisions for private matches. So therefore, that's something that kind of nullifies the requirements for having this simply because you can't prestige, or perhaps maybe I'm completely wrong and once this is added in, it's only a 25 gun streak, and it's something that doesn't really take into consideration, so it kind of removes that requirement barrier that is needed in multiplayer. But nonetheless, it's something that I personally don't think you'll have as much luck with this in private match as you were to maybe go into a game and actually get one. So that said, you're gonna have to try pretty hard, I think, here, because I'm running into a lot of sweats you guys might not be, but also war is something that is off limits. So war, I think, is probably one of the easiest, especially on some of the long-range sniper maps, to get long kill streaks like that. Like Operation Neptune, if people are just running at you at the beach of Normandy, that'd be incredibly easy to pull that off, I think. So it's gonna take a little bit of time maybe to get some of these. I know some people will definitely jump on and get them with ease. I know a lot of my friends are definitely way better than me at getting those kill streaks going, so I expect them to get that very soon if it does drop on Tuesday, like almost immediately thereafter. But who knows, people like me, the average Joe, something like that, it might be a little bit tougher to get it, but nonetheless, keep in mind, you also want to go and prestige your divisions at least once. It doesn't take all that long, and of course, if you mix and match divisions with weapons and the division itself, it helps out tremendously. But the biggest thing here, I think, right now, is that this is not confirmed just yet. That's something that, yes, we have game code, and that is very solid evidence if we want to put it that way, but it's not been anything officially confirmed by Call of Duty, by Sledgehammer, but it seems to match up with something that is a little bit tougher than just your standard 25 to 30 gun streak, because taking that time to prestige every division does take a little bit more time. It's something that doesn't hinder players that may not use some of those divisions simply because you can prestige divisions rather fast if you set your mind to it and actually try, but it is something that right off the bat, the base player will not have it. So that said, keep in mind, right now, there's nothing confirmed, but it sure looks like this. So that said, we're gonna turn it over to you guys. What do you think about this here? Do you like the idea of what is proposed here for the V2 rocket, the secret score streak within Call of Duty World War II, or are you not necessarily a fan of how this has happened? Are you guys thinking this might be a little bit too much, or do you love it? Whatever it is, let me know down there in the comment section down below. And of course, if you guys have anything else to add, if you guys are adamant about being the first in the world to get it, you're stoked to see some footage here up on the channel whenever it happens, whatever it may be, let me know down there in the comment section down below. But that said, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and if you guys did, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe to stay up to date with everything we have here regarding Call of Duty World War II. We're gonna be killing it with the content going forward. I think I even have a second video coming out today, so make sure you stick around for all of that. And if you guys are new, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a beat. And finally, if you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, that's the best place to get connected with me outside of YouTube. I practically live on Twitter, so if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, link is down there in the description below. But all that said and out of the way, hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thanks so much for watching. Mine is an Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care, and peace.